Stop being soft. Fire, ladies and gentlemen. There comes a time when a man or a woman must look in the mirror and ask, "What have I become?" Have you become comfortable, complacent? Are you making excuses for mediocrity? Because if you are, you've gone soft, and softness, my friend, is the silent assassin of destiny. Let me tell you something that may sting. Life does not reward softness. Life does not hand out trophies for trying. Life pays in full, but only to those who dare to pay the price in blood, sweat, and unwavering focus. You weren't born to drift through life wrapped in a blanket of comfort. You weren't designed for a 9-to-5 existence that dulls your ambition and drains your soul. You were forged with purpose, you were wired to win, but somewhere along the way you settled. You listened to the world when it whispered, "Take it easy, you deserve a break, it's okay to quit." That voice is a lie, and it's been lying to you your whole life. Listen to me carefully. Every great man and woman who ever rose from nothing had a turning point, a moment when they said, "No more, I'm done being soft." That was the day their life turned into a mission. Not a wish, not a dream, a mission. They turned pain into fuel, obstacles into opportunity, criticism into clarity, and rejection into a reason to rise higher. Your problem isn't that you're not capable. Your problem is that you've been negotiating with your own potential and losing. You want to be successful, then start acting like it, get up earlier, speak with power, work like your life depends on it. Think bigger, move faster. Stop crying over what you can't control and dominate what you can, because discipline will take you further than desire. Toughness will take you further than talent. Grit will take you places comfort never will. You weren't put on this earth to blend in, you were made to break the mold. So, no more coddling your fears, no more waiting for permission, no more being soft. Life rewards toughness, not comfort, if you seek the truth about success, not the sugar-coated version whispered to make the masses feel good, but the hard, unshakable truth. Then you must start here. Life does not reward comfort. It rewards toughness. That is not opinion, it is law, a universal principle as fixed as gravity, and until you embrace that law, you will remain exactly where you are, stuck, soft, and silently suffering. You've been lied to, conditioned, told that happiness comes from ease, that fulfillment is found in avoiding pain, that greatness can be achieved without paying a price, and so you made comfort your god. You built your life around the pursuit of convenience, safety, and instant gratification. But here's what they never told you: comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Comfort is seductive. It lulls the mind into passivity. It tells you you've done enough when you haven't even started. It whispers you're tired when in truth you are just unchallenged. It builds a prison out of pleasure, wrapping the bars in velvet so you don't notice your cage. And while you're sleeping on a mattress made of mediocrity, the world is being conquered by those who chose the hard road. Toughness, on the other hand, demands something higher. It asks for the full measure of who you are. It drags you into discomfort not to break you, but to build you. Every scar you earn through discipline, every moment you push when it hurts, every choice you make to stand tall when your knees beg to buckle, that's life shaping you into someone worthy of the rewards. Understand this: toughness is not inherited, it is forged. It is the result of decisions made in silence, far from the spotlight, when no one is watching. It's what happens when you keep going after failure, after rejection, after humiliation. While others retreat to comfort, the tough remain on the battlefield, bloodied but unbroken, and it is they who rise. Life respects power, not brute strength, but inner power, the kind that says, "No matter what, I will not be defeated." The kind that gets up after being knocked down 10 times. The kind that does what needs to be done, not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. That kind of power does not come from a soft life. It is born in hardship, baptized in pressure, and refined by fire. So what does life reward? It rewards the individual who has mastered the art of perseverance, the one who is not swayed by emotion or controlled by circumstances. It rewards the one who shows up tired, shows up afraid, shows up broken, but still shows up. Because life knows what most people forget, that toughness is the mark of someone who is ready for more. Your comfort zone is your cage, and every day you choose ease over effort, you reinforce those bars. You strengthen the lie that your best days are behind you, but choose toughness and you begin to chip away at the limits you've placed on yourself. Choose toughness and you awaken something ancient inside you, a will that refuses to quit. Remember, everything worth having is hidden behind obstacles. Comfort avoids them, toughness charges through them. You are not meant to be soft clay, easily molded by the world. You are meant to be steel, tested in fire, unbreakable in purpose. The more you run toward difficulty, the more life begins to open doors reserved only for the few. Because excuses are lies disguised as logic, there is no greater enemy to achievement than the excuse. Not failure, not fear, not even lack of opportunity. The excuse is more dangerous because it wears the mask of reason. It parades itself as wisdom. It sounds intelligent, rational, even justified, but make no mistake, excuses are lies, and the most insidious kind, because they come from within. An excuse is the subconscious mind's defense mechanism. It seeks to shield you from the sting of responsibility, the pain of discipline, and the discomfort of truth. And so it whispers 1,000 reasons why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's not the right time. These whispers come cloaked in language that sounds smart. I'm just being realistic. It's not the right market. I don't have the support. But dig deeper and you'll find nothing but fear, laziness, and self-doubt wearing the costume of logic. Excuses are seductive because they remove accountability. They let you off the hook. If you can convince yourself that something is out of your control, then you no longer have to change, fight, or grow. It's easier to say, I'm too old, than to admit I've wasted years. It's easier to say it's not the right time than to confront the fact that you've been procrastinating out of fear. Excuses protect your pride by sacrificing your potential. The worst part, the more intelligent you are, the more sophisticated your excuses become. Smart people create elaborate justifications for inaction. They build castles of logic to house their fears. They write essays in their minds defending why they can't. But brilliance without execution is wasted genius. Wisdom without willpower is nothing but a silent tragedy. Excuses are comfortable because they provide a story, and humans love stories. But here's the truth. Your story doesn't matter unless it ends in action. Your past doesn't matter. Your background doesn't matter. Your pain, your losses, your rejections, they may be real, but they are not valid reasons to quit. They are only ingredients for greatness if you choose to use them that way. Look at every person who has risen to greatness and you will see one thing in common: they stopped believing their own excuses. They buried the lie and embraced the truth that they, and they alone, were responsible for their future. No government, no boss, no relationship, no parent, just them raw, determined, and unrelenting. The excuse is a thief. It steals your time. It steals your ambition. It steals your future and hands it to someone who is simply willing to act. And while you rehearse the reasons why you couldn't, someone else is out there doing, building, becoming, not because they had more, but because they made fewer excuses. You cannot be free and make excuses at the same time. One must die for the other to live. Every time you say, I can't, you build a wall between yourself and your destiny. Every time you say, it's not fair, you give away your power. But every time you say, it's my fault, you take the wheel back. You shift from passive to active, from victim to victor. People say they want success, but what they often mean is that they want success without resistance. They want the result, not the responsibility. They want the crown, but not the cross. So when resistance shows up, as it always does, they reach for the nearest excuse. But you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your future. The greatest lie sold to mankind is that life happens to you. That you are nothing more than the result of your environment, a puppet dangling at the mercy of outside forces. Society, economy, upbringing, genetics, these are the names of the chains people wrap around themselves, and then they wonder why they never rise. But here is a higher truth. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your future. Look around. Most people surrender their power before they've even begun. They blame the system, the weather, their childhood, their boss, their relationships, anyone and anything that relieves them of the burden of ownership. But those who lead extraordinary lives understand this. You cannot build a future while blaming the past. Circumstances are real, yes. They may shape the starting point, but they do not decide the finish line. There are people who were born with nothing, no support, no safety net, no advantages, and still forged empires from ash. There are those who came from broken homes, broken countries, broken bodies, and still built greatness. Why? Because they refused to accept victimhood as their identity. They refused to bow to circumstance. When you see yourself as the architect, you realize every thought you think is a brick. Every choice you make is a blueprint. Every belief you hold is a beam in the structure of your life, and with every action, you are either building a palace or digging your own grave. Responsibility is not a punishment, it is the tool of creation. No architect blames the land for the shape of the building. He adapts, he innovates, he envisions something that does not yet exist, and then he brings it into reality. You, too, must begin with vision. What does the life you want look like? What does it feel like? And more importantly, what are you willing to sacrifice to create it? Because architecture demands work. It demands labor. It demands precision and persistence. Your life, right now, is a result of the blueprints you've drawn in your mind. If you are dissatisfied, change the plan. If you are surrounded by weakness, stop building with rotten wood. If you want a different future, you must first become a different person. The power is and always has been in your hands, but power is dangerous in the hands of the passive. That's why the world keeps telling you that you're a victim, because as long as you believe it, you won't pick up your tools, you won't take the wheel, you won't build anything. You'll sit there, waiting for someone else to rescue you, and when they don't, you'll call it injustice instead of what it truly is, inaction. The successful don't wait. They create. They see the same world everyone else sees, but instead of surrendering to it, they impose their will upon it. They bend their habits, their thinking, their daily rituals around their vision. They do not allow the external to dictate the internal. They understand that the future is not found, it is built, and they are the builders. This shift from victim to architect is not a one-time decision. It is a daily discipline. Every day, the world will test you. Every day, your old identity will try to reclaim you. Every day, your past will try to pull you back. And every day, you must answer with action, with ownership, with fire, because discipline outperforms motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is a furnace. One flares and dies, the other burns through the night. If you are waiting to feel inspired before you take action, you are already defeated. The man who relies on motivation will always be at the mercy of his moods, but the one who cultivates discipline becomes unstoppable because he no longer needs to feel good to do what must be done. Motivation is emotional, it's fleeting, it shows up when the conditions are perfect, the sun is shining, and the path is smooth. But how often does life give you that? Rarely. Life gives you resistance. It gives you early mornings, late nights, cold weather, criticism, setbacks, and in those moments motivation vanishes like mist in the wind, but discipline stays. Discipline shows up regardless. Discipline is not loud. It does not scream or cheer. It's quiet, consistent, almost boring. It's the act of doing the right thing, especially when you don't feel like it. It's waking up when the alarm rings, working when others are resting, saying no when temptation whispers yes. Discipline is the steel backbone of greatness. Without it, talent rusts and dreams rot. Most people never achieve what they truly want because they keep waiting to be in the right headspace. They wait to feel ready. They wait to be excited. But the truth is, success isn't about being in the mood, it's about mastering the moment. Discipline doesn't care how you feel, it only asks, did you show up? When you build your life on motivation, your results rise and fall like the tide. But when you build your life on discipline, you become like a machine, consistent, focused, relentless. You eliminate excuses because your behavior is no longer up for negotiation. You do the work because it's required, not because it's convenient. There will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, angry, alone. There will be weeks when nothing goes your way. That's when most people quit. That's when they fall back into comfort, distractions, weakness. But those who live by discipline, they press forward anyway. They don't need permission. They don't need applause. They only need the next task. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you strengthen your integrity. You become your own commander, and when you lead yourself with authority, the world begins to follow. Confidence grows not from compliments, but from keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. The world is full of motivated people with no results, full of dreamers with no execution, full of people who start strong and fade out. What separates the few who finish, who dominate, who break through the noise is the daily, often invisible act of discipline. While others drift, they drive. While others wait, they work. While others look for the right feeling, they turn pain into purpose and setbacks into strategy. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the refiner of men, the anvil upon which strength is hammered and shaped. Weak minds flee from it, strong minds use it. If you would rise to your full power, you must make a decision that your pain will not be wasted, that every scar will serve a purpose, that every setback will be turned into strategy. The world does not reward those who suffer in silence. It rewards those who convert their suffering into fuel. When pain strikes, and it will, you have only two choices: collapse under its weight or rise with its lessons. Most people let pain define them. The uncommon few let it refine them. Which will you choose? The man who turns his pain into purpose becomes a force that cannot be stopped. His wounds become weapons. His story becomes strategy. He stops asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begins declaring, "This happened for me, now watch what I do with it." That mindset separates the average from the elite. It transforms tragedy into triumph. Setbacks are not signs to quit. They are signals to evolve. Every delay, every rejection, every failure contains within it the seed of advantage, but only if you seek it. The weak mourn over what they've lost. The strong search for what they can gain from the loss. They analyze, they adapt, they emerge smarter, sharper, more lethal than before. You must become a strategist of your own setbacks, not emotional, not reactive, strategic, cold, calculated, purpose, driven. Ask, what did I learn? What did it reveal about me? What did it expose in my thinking, my planning, my execution? The setback is not the end. It is data, it is intelligence, it is raw material. Too many people romanticize success but run from the ingredients that create it. Pain is one of those ingredients. The fire you're running from is the very heat required to forge your power. You do not build resilience in comfort. You build it in chaos, in heartbreak, in exhaustion, in nights where you feel like quitting, but take one more step anyway. Purpose does not fall from the sky. It is carved from hardship. It is drawn out in dark moments, when your faith is tested and your will is stretched. That is where identity is formed. That is where the man is made. You cannot us pain and still expect power. The bridge to destiny always passes through discomfort. If you feel broken, it means you were built for more. Brokenness is not the end, it is the beginning of reconstruction. When you hit the wall, when you're knocked flat, when life hits you so hard you forget how to breathe, that is the moment you get to choose. Become bitter or become bulletproof. Understand this, your pain is not unique. Every champion you admire has walked through fire. They just chose to walk through it with intention. They didn't drown in self-pity. They didn't post about it to get sympathy. They got up, they studied the flames. And they made the fire serve them. While others screamed, comfort is the enemy of greatness. Greatness does not grow in comfort. It is not born on soft beds. It does not thrive in safe zones, and it will never be found where life is easy. Greatness is not handed out, it is forged, wrestled, and bled for. If you desire a life that echoes beyond your days, understand this truth. Comfort is not your friend, it is your greatest enemy. Comfort lures you in with whispers of rest, pleasure, ease. It tells you you've earned it, even when you've done nothing. It tells you you're safe, even while your potential rots. It is the slow poison that kills ambition, not with a bang, but with a sigh. You don't feel it at first, that's what makes it dangerous. It wraps you in pleasure and gently tightens the noose. Look at those who rise above the ordinary, and you will find a common trait: they despise comfort, not because they hate rest, but because they know what rest can become when left unchecked: regression. Weakness, decay. They understand that comfort is not a destination, it is a trap disguised as paradise. Comfort breeds softness, and softness is the death of discipline. It dulls your edge, it makes you hesitate when you should strike. It teaches you to avoid resistance when resistance is the very thing that strengthens you. Comfort does not challenge you, it does not demand more, it does not awaken your fire, it suffocates it. The moment you start prioritizing comfort over commitment, you begin to decline. Slowly, quietly, invisibly at first, you miss one workout, you delay one task, you make one excuse, and soon you've built a life of quiet desperation, telling yourself you're happy while your dreams die in the background. Greatness demands discomfort not once, but daily. It demands that you do what is hard, what is tedious, what is inconvenient, that you train when others sleep, that you study when others scroll, that you keep your word when no one is watching. The man who embraces discomfort becomes immune to excuses. He becomes unshakable, relentless. Comfort appeals to your feelings. Greatness responds only to decisions. Decisions made with clarity, followed by action, and repeated until success is inevitable. You do not become great by how you feel. You become great by what you do, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Every time you choose comfort, you strengthen the habits that lead to mediocrity. Every time you choose challenge, you strengthen the mind that commands destiny. Each choice is a vote not just for who you are today, but for who you are becoming, and no one becomes elite by choosing the easy road. The world may not reward you for rejecting comfort immediately. You will not receive applause for training in the dark, for showing up early, for staying late. But over time, the difference will become undeniable. While others fade, you will rise. While others settle, you will surge. While others get cozy with compromise, you will become. Your mind is your master weapon. Sharpen it daily. The mind is the battlefield. The war is not outside you, it is within. Every victory you will ever claim, and every defeat you will ever suffer, begins not in the world, but in your thoughts. Your body may be strong, your ambition may be high, but if your mind is dull, scattered, or undisciplined, you will fall. Understand this now, your mind is your master weapon. Sharpen it, or be destroyed by it. Most people walk through life with a dull blade. They consume noise, distraction, entertainment, and trivial information. They scroll more than they study, they react more than they reflect, and then they wonder why they can't focus, why they can't break through, why their life feels like a chaotic blur? The answer is simple. They have allowed their most powerful asset to rust. A sharp mind sees opportunity others overlook. It cuts through confusion, distraction, and manipulation. It doesn't follow the crowd, it questions the crowd. It doesn't react impulsively, it calculates. A sharpened mind is dangerous. It is precise. It is strategic. And in a world full of mental mediocrity, it becomes a weapon of domination. How do you sharpen the mind? Through discipline, through study, through silence, through challenge. Every book you read, every deep conversation you have, every moment you choose reflection over reaction, these are whetstones for your intellect. You are either forging a blade or dulling one. Every day is a choice. Sharpening the mind requires that you reject mental laziness. You must be ruthless with your input. Stop feeding your brain garbage. If you treat your mind like a garbage can, don't be surprised when trash becomes your identity. Elevate your standards, train your thoughts. Refuse to be average, especially in your thinking. Your body has limits. Your time has limits. But your mind, if cultivated properly, can become infinite. It can solve problems, invent futures, rewrite your reality. And yet, most people treat their mind like a burden instead of a gift. They escape from it, numb it, distract it, but you, if you are to lead, must command it. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become results. So if your results are weak, trace the thread backward. The problem always begins in the mind. A weak man tries to change his results without changing his thoughts. A strong man transforms his mind first and lets his new world rise from there. Mental sharpness is not inherited, it is forged. Just like muscles, it grows under pressure. So put your mind under pressure. Train it with reading, writing, building, solving, strategizing. Make your thoughts your allies. Make them disciplined soldiers, not wild animals. Master your mind, or it will master you. The greatest prisons are not made of iron, they are made of ideas. False beliefs, inherited doubts, mental shackles passed down from others, break them, redesign your thinking, uproot anything that keeps you small. The mind is your most valuable weapon, but if you neglect it, it becomes your worst liability. And while others polish their appearance, their status, their possessions, the few who win the war of life are those who choose to polish their. Success is not owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every day. Success is not a trophy. It is not a one-time event, a lucky break, or a permanent status granted to a chosen few. Success is a responsibility, a daily contract, not a lifetime guarantee. You do not arrive at success. You maintain it, protect it, re-earn it through relentless commitment. Every single day, the moment you think you own it, it begins to slip away. Too many people hit a milestone and think they're finished. They cross a goal line and celebrate like they've won the war. But success doesn't work that way. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't honor your resume. It is not loyal to what you did yesterday. It only respects what you do today. That's why the winners of yesterday can become the losers of tomorrow if they stop paying the rent. You must kill the illusion of arrival. There is no final destination. There is no plateau where you can coast and expect to stay on top. There is only growth or decline, progress or decay. The rent for success is paid in effort, sacrifice, discipline, and focus. And the moment you stop paying, success evicts you without warning. You see it all around you. People who once had the fire, the vision, the grit, they tasted success and then they got soft, they forgot what built it. They stopped doing the hard things, they believed the hype and lost their hunger. They bought the lie that success could be owned like a piece of land. They got lazy, and success left them. You want to rise. Then understand this law. The rent is due every morning, not once a week, not when you feel like it, not when others are watching, every single day. You pay it when you train, when you study, when you execute the plan, when you discipline your emotions and silence your excuses. Success demands you show up with full intent every day, whether you're tired or inspired, sick or strong, lonely or celebrated. It demands consistency when no one is applauding, when no one believes in you, when no results are visible yet. This is what separates champions from contenders. They show up and pay the rent regardless. And here's the catch: the price keeps going up. The higher you rise, the greater the rent. The standards increase. The pressure intensifies, the stakes grow heavier. You don't get to rest on reputation. If you're not improving, you're declining. If you're not sharpening your blade, you're becoming dull. There is no neutral in the realm of high achievement. Success is not something you own, it is something you lease with your performance, and the lease can be revoked, not by others, but by your own complacency. You become your own landlord and your own executioner. The question is never did I make it, but am I still earning it? And if the answer is no, then know this: you are already falling. Every action is a payment. Every skipped task is a late fee. Every excuse is a crack in the foundation. And those cracks compound, they grow, until one day you wake up and what you built is gone, not because someone took it, but because you stopped protecting it. And while others sleep in comfort, believing the lie of ownership, the few who dominate understand the truth, that success is leased, not granted, that the meter never stops running, and that while most people are asking, "When can I rest?" the true leaders are asking. This is your moment. Forge yourself in fire, harden your mind, strengthen your will, build a life so powerful, so undeniable, that even your enemies will bow their heads in respect. Now get out there and make your mark.